Hi, and welcome. It's Chris-Ann, and I'm coming at you from Elemental Energies with Chris-Ann. Still located in Wells, Maine, where I'm doing contactless pickup. And of course, check out my website, elementalenерgieswithchrisann.com. So today we're going to be doing another deck review and another free mini reading for Dinah. But let's get talking about today's deck. We're talking about the Healing Oracle Crystal Reading Cards by Rachel Charman. So this is what looks to be like a bigger box. It's a big box. So it retails for $19.95 as of January 2021. There are 56 cards in this deck. Now, I'm regularly saying don't let the size of the box intimidate you from the actual size of the cards inside. That looks quite large. Let's just be honest. And I have seen decks like this, if not this deck, then decks like this have sort of scared some people away, thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to shuffle cards that big? Well, that is why I do these videos, so you can see what are the size of the cards on the inside of the box. So within this box, you have a generous sized book, actually. It's about 2 pages per card slash crystal. There's crystal meanings, there's crystal medicine, there's the oracle meaning within this. Some of them are slightly bit more than 2 pages, but you get the deal of it. A lot of information within this book. Many times I tell people, get rid of the book, make the cards your own. This deck is one of my very, very few exceptions. I do have a few exceptions to that rule, and this is one. And here's why. You're getting a twofer with this. Not only are you getting a deck of oracle cards, it's also a crystal deck, and you're getting a book that explains crystals to you. So this one is really, you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck within this one. Also, it talks about some layouts and different things like that in the front of the book, as most of them do. So check that out. So here's the actual size of the cards. Much, much different than what you think it would be based on the size of the box, because the box is, a little intimidating looking. And then the back of the cards are all the same image. It's lovely crystals. Let's go through each and every card here. You can see that the borders on these cards are different based on what is the crystal. So you have a diopside, which represents Mother Earth. So let's go through all of these. You have the title, you have the crystal, and then you have the message. If you have studied with me and you have studied my How to Read with 20 plus cards for one reading, which is how I do, and I also have developed a class on that, you will know that you can use this deck for that reading. Here's the other thing that I like about this deck. Whenever I am reviewing a deck of crystal cards, specifically crystal cards, if they don't have a natural citrine, oh, shame on that author. Shame on them. In this case, Rachel did a natural citrine. Kudos, 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 kudos. And it is the energy of abundance. There's a couple other crystal decks out there that don't use pictures of natural citrine, or let's just say they have the title, they have the stone, but the meaning of the stone doesn't match what is there. I don't find that in this deck. This deck I find to be spot on. Black tourmaline, a fantastic representation of it, and it is one of the stones of protection. I do like this deck a lot. Here's the other thing I like about it. So this one is a Master Teacher card, which is a little bit different. There's a couple Master Teacher cards in here. And this is showing some of the growth patterns within the Ancient Wisdom Crystal, which is all about some ancient wisdom, and it talks about that within this. Another Master Teacher card, all about the Awakening Crystal, and this is all about emotional healing, and you can see based on the growth patterns. You know, a deck like this, I'm always saying to think outside the box with your decks, and here's other ways that you can use this deck. Now here's dioptase, which is different than diopside. A lot of people get confused with that, so I just want to point that out. A lot of people like to do crystal gridding. If you're like me, I love to do crystal gridding. And I may not always have all the crystals around that I want to have. I mean, I have a collection of fairy stones, but maybe you don't have a collection of fairy stones and you want to add a fairy stone into your crystal grid. Utilize your cards within your grids. And I have posted a lot of pictures of different crystal grids that I have creating utilizing cards as well as jewelry and of course my stones, etc. Check out my Facebook page, Elemental Energies with Chris-Anne. So I love the stone selection within this deck. I love the photography within this deck. I love the meanings within this deck. I find it true and accurate of what a representation of the actual stone is and what the meaning correlated to the crystal is. Now, let me use lapis as an example. Now, does lapis only mean working with past life? No, it doesn't. It has multiple meanings, multiple things, and so let's use that as an example. And oh, I actually did open right up to it. So it talks about the crystal color. Related chakras is your third eye and your crown. I do use this one as my throat chakra actually, because it is blue. And for the crystal meaning, it goes into, opens you up for clairvoyance. It's a powerful spiritual initiation stone. It supports past life awareness and healing on your karmic levels. That's what it's talking about on the card itself. It enhances your psychic gifts and your awareness, and it severs karmic ties. So there's other information within the book that's different than what's on the card, but it supports what's on the card. I love Libyan gold. It's gorgeous. Malachite, another great stone. So if you don't have any of these crystals within your crystal tool bag, morganite, I love. I wear morganite every single day. I'm never without my morganite. That's my morganite. It's all about relationship healing, but it's also a really powerful stone of self-love and divine love. It's really top for me when it comes to love stones. Numite is a fantastic stone. So look at all the great collection of stones that you're getting within this. Of course, it's a beautiful opal, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stones. I am a big fan of this deck, obviously. I may not use it enough that I should actually probably be using it a little bit more. But it is a great crystal deck. There's so many crystal decks on the market now, which I love. And actually, I'm working on one myself. But I do love this deck. I love the information in it. I really am going to do like a 2 thumbs up for this one. And, you know, some people, so this is another Master Teacher card, Soul Connection Crystal. Some people call this the Twin Flame Crystal, but it is all about lovers. So some of these stones have other names for them, depending on where you live in the world, depending on where you live in the country, etc. Still the same meaning. So just keep that in mind as well. So lovely, lovely, lovely. I hope you're getting a little bit of inspiration from this deck. Crystal reading cards does, or Rachel, who did the crystal reading cards, does a very good job. I like that the border coordinates with the actual stone. In this case, it's all about pink tourmaline. Pink tourmaline, in this case, she's saying it's all about forgiveness, but it is also a love stone, and you have to love yourself in order to forgive yourself to move on, etc. But there's a lot of that within the book. So beautiful examples of the stones, easy to utilize cards. I find this deck to be easy for beginners to use as well as those that are a little bit more advanced. So I think this is a fun crystal deck to have within your toolbox. You know, I have I, I have a lot of decks. I have over 400 decks sitting here in front of me. I use my decks when I do a reading with cards. I'm utilizing 20 plus decks for one reading. So I need to have a collection of decks for my guides, your guides, etc. to pick from. And that's why I have a collection of crystal decks as well, because a lot of times, hey, we speak the language of crystals just as much as we speak the language of herbs and all these other things. So this deck I like as a twofer. You can also use this deck to pull a card a day, a card a night. What stone should I be channeling the energy of? Hey, I'm going to the crystal store. I'm calling Chris Ann. Let's see what stones she has. What stones do my guides want me to utilize? That's a really fun way to use this deck. And I think sometimes people don't think outside the box enough when it comes to utilizing their decks. And I think they need to think of other ways that they can use their decks. Card a day, card a night, easy peasy. But when I'm doing an actual reading, I'm using this deck as well. I'm pulling this for my regular readings because this is an oracle deck and it contains that information within the card itself. Now, if you are on my Facebook page, Elemental Energies with Chrisanne, you see that I do weekly contests. And most of the time it's pick a number. I always have a number picked. Pick a number. If you don't guess the exact number, whoever is closest to the number by the time I'm ready to do my video is who gets a free mini reading. My mini readings here on YouTube are a little bit longer than my free mini readings on my Facebook page, which I do every single weekend. I do a Facebook Live where I do a whole bunch of mini readings. So let's get started. Dinah won this one. So let's see what's in store for Dinah. So Dinah, we have the card of Sunstone. Sunstone in this case is the stone of empowerment, but it's also the stone of self-love as well. And it's a great empowerment, creativity stone. This is empowerment, but it's also a great creative stone as well. You also have Amazonite, which is also telling you to think outside the box when it comes to figuring out what your life purpose is, because you're going to be having a spiritual awakening within all of this great stuff. Don't forget to clear and clear with Mother Earth and connect with your creative, be fertile with your creative mind. You're very creative here, and be fertile with your creativity as you move forward to find your joy. You have two stones of joy. This is also one of my other top stones of joy, sunstone as well as opal. I am wearing an opal. When you have so many stones of joy, it is telling you to work on your life purpose so you can have your spiritual awakening that will bring you joy as you think outside the box with your clever, fertile ideas. But don't forget to calm and clear as you connect to the land. Whether it be you're hugging a tree, you're standing outside barefoot in the grass. Right now we're in Maine and there really isn't much grass because it's a little bit covered with snow, but that's okay. To be honest, I do stand barefoot in the snow many times. Yeah, my mother doesn't always like that, but that's okay. I'm an adult. We're always our mother's children, aren't we? So, when finding your life purpose, that is the Amazonite. Using the selenite, which is a spiritual awakening. But here's the deal. Selenite is also a stone of clearing. Clearing when you connect with Mother Earth, which is the diopside. having those fairy stones, I love fairy stones. Fairy stones are wonderful. I have a whole collection of fairy stones. Fairy stones are out of Canada, and it is the sign of fertility. It's also the sign of connecting with your fairies, which is also the stone of connecting with Mother Nature and Earth. As you find your joy is going to be the ripple effect, Dinah. So as you empower yourself to find your joy and recognize that you are worthy of finding your joy, don't forget to keep yourself clear. Don't forget to keep yourself within your higher vibration, because that's what you are being called to do on a higher purpose. Dinah, if you're not reading with cards, you need to be reading with cards, because I'm getting that a lot of this is giving answers to other people on a really higher level, that you're going to be able to do that and help them to understand via cards, because some people need that visual understanding, and I think cards for you are going to be a great tool for you to be able to help um, other people understand that. Wow, cool. That's a good one, Dinah. That's really good. You're going to be going places. This is just the beginning. And I'm so glad that this reading was done in January, because you're going to be taking that energy and going forward for the year within creating that intention of moving into your truer, higher vibration of a self, your truer purpose. And this year is all about setting that intention and moving into it. And frankly, don't allow yourself to get in the way, and make sure you take care of yourself by clearing, connecting with nature, etc. And you know what? If you can utilize these stones to be able to do all of that, super powerful. If you wanted to clear with your selenite wand, go for it. I always keep my selenite right here on my desk. Clear with your selenite. Clear with some Reiki energy utilizing your selenite, etc. Use all the tools within your toolbox. So cool. This has been the Healing Oracle Crystal Cards. In case you didn't notice, I am a fan. I do like this deck a lot, and I hope you guys have gotten a little bit of insight out of this, and maybe this has inspired you to go ahead and try and find this deck and utilize this maybe within your readings for your self-empowerment, etc. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is Chris-Anne, and please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and check out my Facebook page, Elemental Energies with Chris-Anne. Pass on my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell. I would really appreciate it. I got some big things coming right down the pike for this channel. So thank you, everybody, and be free.